Welcome back, guys. Caleb here at 86 Speed. Today we are going to be installing the premium GR86 duckbill wing. All right, so when you first open up your box, one thing you're going to notice is it comes with this large packet of instructions. This also includes the template that you'll need to actually line up the holes to drill into the part that you'll take off the car to install the wing on. It will also come with this really nice 3M prep kit. This is just what you're going to want to use to wipe down the part you remove, just to ensure that you get a good stick from the 3M that is on the bottom of this wing, as well as the nuts that will be on the bottom of this wing to help add that extra security on the wing. And then of course the wing itself, it's going to come like this. Underneath you'll see it does have those 5 bolts here, as well as a lot of like a 3M style tape just to ensure that the wing does not fall off of the car. Moving over here just to kind of show some of the tools we recommend. Of course, we have an impact just to make things a little bit quicker, but when you are actually installing the wing on your car, we highly recommend to use a ratchet just so you don't strip anything or righty becomes loosey instead of tighty. Also, we have pick tools and screwdrivers to remove the plastic clips that we'll need. And then for actually drilling the hole on the trunk, we use a small drill bit to start the hole, and then we'll use a step bit just to ensure a nice clean finish. And of course, you're gonna wanna use tape of your choice just to hold on the template, as well as masking off any parts of your car that you don't want to have scuffed up. All right, so the first step here is once you have the trunk open, you're going to want to remove this trunk liner. So I typically use a screwdriver just to get in these little gaps here, pop the clip up, and then you can get underneath it, and that's how you'll remove it. You'll just do the same on the other ones, and then eventually once you have them all off, the liner will just come right off. Here's the last one. Once you have that off, the liner just comes right out. So once you have the trunk liner removed, that will give you access to the additional 6 bolts that actually hold the wing on. The first thing we're gonna do is remove these wire harnesses. These do hold that part onto the car, so you're gonna definitely wanna make sure you remove them before you pull it off. Otherwise, you're gonna put stress on these wires. This is also gonna be the part where it does help to have another person around to help hold the wing once it comes off, because once you pop those clips off, it's just gonna fall right off onto the trunk. So we'll just go ahead and push this clip down, pull the wires right out, and then you'll just kind of pinch these little rubber grommets and push them back through the trunk. From there, this is where we like to use the impact. This is the one and only time just to make it a little bit more efficient. You'll use the 8mm to remove these 3 bolts here, and then these 3 bolts on this side, as well as these additional 2 bolts on both sides of the wing. So here and here. As you're doing this, you want to be very careful not to drop the bolt down inside the trunk. Obviously, if you do, you'll just have a very difficult time getting the bolt back out, and it will rattle obviously every single time you open the trunk. So definitely keep your hand close by to catch any pesky falling bolts. All right, so we gone ahead and got all the bolts out. Next, what we're gonna do is actually remove the little pop clips that are underneath the wing. So it's gonna feel a little strange, like you may break the wing, but you do have to apply a decent amount of force to actually get the wing to separate from the trunk itself. So what I like to do is brace my arm against the trunk, grab a firm hold of the entirety of the edge of the wing so I'm not putting all the pressure only here on the corner, which might lead to you snapping off the corner or something. Apply a nice amount of pressure. You'll hear the clips dislodge, and you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. This is a good portion where it definitely helps to have another hand to hold the wing. So in this case, we're gonna have another person come and hold that side of the wing while we dislodge this side. Now that you have the wing separated, that's when you're going ahead and push the rubber grommets through, and the wing will just come right off. And as you guys can see here, it is kind of a strange design. It's quite literally going to be, we don't know exactly what to call this piece because it is just a piece of the trunk, pretty much a wing on top of a wing. And then as you can see here, these are those little plastic push clips that we were talking about to pop off to actually get this part to come off of the car. This is the little wing that you saw on the trunk. And then here's the duckbill that's gonna go right on top of it. So the next step is going to be to get your template set up. Toyota was nice enough to provide this very, very convenient template. It tells you exactly which side of the car each part of the template is, as well as where the parts should be in reference to the actual trunk piece here. And the other thing they did to make it very convenient is there's only one way you can put this template on once you figure out which part of this wing it's supposed to go on. There's no real room for error there. As long as you have everything lined up, taped in a nice solid way so it doesn't move, once you have it in place, it's very cut and dry. From there, you'll just start your holes and then drill them. All right, so we've gone ahead and got the template taped up. Again, it's very cut and dry. You can't really mess this up as long as you follow the pictures that are detailed inside your guide, get them in the right spot. Now we're gonna go ahead and start the holes, actually drill the holes, and then get them installed on the car. Alrighty guys, so we just finished cleaning up the holes on the wing. We do recommend using a step bit just because it leaves a nice clean hole as opposed to just using a drill bit and just hoping that you get the right depth. This allows you to not only make a hole that's the correct size easier, but it just leaves an overall cleaner finish. So from here, once you do drill into it, it's gonna leave these nasty plastic shards everywhere all over the wing. We recommend that you blow them off because if you wipe them off, you risk the chance of scratching the paint and clear coat on your wing with obviously the plastic shards. So from here, what we're gonna do, once we ensure that everything is off this surface, we're gonna blow it off. We're gonna wipe it down with the 3M prep wipe that they provide with the kit. Then we're gonna go ahead and undo the backing on the tape of the actual wing, and we'll get that installed and pressed down on here, and then we'll go underneath and bolt the wing onto this actual trunk piece. Just a side note, before we actually get into cleaning this thing, we already went ahead and test fit the other wing on top just to make sure that all the holes line up and that we were able to get it fitted. Obviously, you're gonna wanna do that before you do any final prepping, actually using the wipes and actually remove any of the tape. Just do a nice quick test fit to make sure that your holes are the right diameter and everything goes on properly. And now we're gonna get into actually wiping the wing down with the prep wipe. Something interesting to note, you aren't gonna wanna wipe the entirety of your wing with this. This stuff does evaporate, but obviously there's no reason to waste any of it on the back side of the wing. So we're just gonna be wiping along the top here, mainly around where the holes are at and the other taping points from that wing. This is another good point in time where having someone help you is very helpful. So from here, the way they have the tape laid out, as you can see, the tabs kind of go to the inside. So we're gonna remove these ones first because they don't come in contact with the wing once you actually start to set it down. So I like to remove these ones first just because it's difficult to get to them. You can't do the same trick that you normally would do with other 3M applications. However, here on the front, obviously you can see that the tabs are easy to access, so you can go ahead and kind of remove those a little bit, get them in position so you can remove them. From here, we'll go ahead and just set the wing down and get it into place. Now that we have all the tape removed, we're just gonna go ahead and press the wing into place. Alrighty guys, so we have the top wing set in place. The reason why I say top wing is if you take a look at this from the back, it's quite literally a wing on top of a wing. So you have the lower section here, this is the part we removed from the car, and then this top section here along this line up is the actual duckbill wing that we installed. You may have also noticed that while we were trying to get the wing on, one of these bolts fell out. No need to worry, they are removable. Just make sure that all your fasteners, these bolts as well as the plastic clips, are just back in their original place. You'll just slide them in the event that one of them does fall out. Now we're gonna go ahead, get these wires back to the trunk and get this thing on. Now that we got that fixed, you're gonna go ahead and take the 10mm nut, put it on the bottom side of the wing. Make sure you go ahead and hand tighten every one so you don't cross thread it. And then this is where we recommend using the ratchet. So we're gonna go ahead, once we have all those threaded on, use the ratchet to get them nicely, firmly in place. All right, now that we've got everything bolted up, we're gonna go ahead and get it back on the car. So first things first, you're gonna wanna thread your wires through these holes. Feed them in there. And then from there, you'll get the wing into place. Once you have everything lined up, the plastic clips, you can just go ahead and snap them down. And then from there, we'll go ahead and get these rubber grommets pulled through. Once those are back in place, you can go ahead and plug your wires in. And from there, you'll just put the rest of the bolts back in. For this section, I highly recommend that you hand thread the nuts back on just so you don't end up dropping them in the trunk. So instead of putting them on the end of your ratchet or impact and trying to put it back on, you hand thread them on first and then you tighten them all up. Something to note, just so you don't get them mixed up, the ones that actually are the piece that we removed from the car, those are going to be 8mm, and then the nuts that we put on the actual duckbill wing itself, those are 10mm. So you will need the 8mm for the actual trunk piece and then the 10mm for the duckbill wing itself. Of course, you don't want to forget the outer bolts, so just remember there's 2 on both sides of the wing on the very end. So you just want to get those threaded in, and then hit them with your ratchet. Get them nice and snug. And then lastly, we're just going to return that trunk liner, so you'll just slide it right up in here. Get it in place. Once you have all the holes lined up, your clips are already popped open. You just push them back through, pop them back down. Just like so. You can go ahead and shut the trunk. And there it is. So lastly, we're just going to give it a nice quick wipe down. Obviously, you don't want to leave any fingerprints all over your newly installed piece. We'll just wipe this down. So something interesting to notate between now that we've done an install on the GR86 as well as the BRZ is this is a Toyota part. It is kind of apparent that the paint matching is a little bit nicer from this car versus the white one that we did earlier. You may have seen it's a little bit hard to tell in video and in photographs, but it's slightly off. And we've seen in the forums and on some of the pages that people are having the same issue with the paint not being perfectly exact. Of course, this is just going to be something that's apparent, maybe a difference between putting a Toyota part on a Subaru and vice versa. Obviously, the wings are painted in different conditions and times and different just conditions overall than when the cars are painted. So it's not going to be exact because those factors do come into play. But the paint code is exactly the same. Obviously, the white is K1X, this one's D4S, and it's the same for the other colors that are the same as the old generation. So there you guys have it. That's how you install the GR86 Premium Duckbill wing on your GR86 or BRZ. Of course, we hope this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, definitely leave a comment down below letting us know. And if there's any other parts you guys want to see us install on a car, let us know there as well. If you want to keep up to date on what we're doing on these cars as well as what we're carrying on our store, you can also follow us at 86speed on Instagram. See you guys in the next video.